Hello and welcome back to the Oh My Gosh, You're Glowing podcast. My name is Lindsay Walker, and today we have another very special guest episode. And today I am joined by my friend Mandy, stylist, style bestie, fairy godmother of your style mindset, and really just hype bestie. And she is just someone who I'm so excited to bring onto this podcast. We actually met in our mastermind, and we actually went to just have a coffee chat together and get to know each other a little bit more. And I just really felt her heart and energy as soon as we got on a call together. And I knew this was actually even before I started inviting guests on my podcast. I knew she was going to be one of the very first ones to be on here because you guys have to hear this woman. You have to get to know her, and her energy has got to be here with us today. So I am so excited and so honored to invite Mandy on the podcast today. Welcome, Mandy, and thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That was so kind. I'm honored to be one of your first guests. I did hear your husband and your mom, and they were fantastic. So thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you so much. Yes. And she is also an avid listener, which I am also just so grateful for. And I'm just incredibly grateful for you being here, taking the time out of your day to be here with us. And yeah, just thank you so much for spending part of your day and bringing your magic to our show. So, I know I introduced you a little bit and gave some people a taste of who you are and what you do, but I know that was just honestly the tip of the iceberg, and people are going to really understand why I invited you on as soon as you start talking. So, please go ahead and just introduce yourself and just share really anything else that you would love the listeners to know about you.
Yeah, of course. So sometimes I'm like, what do I do? I feel like I have so much magic in my soul. And really, it's about loving yourself from the inside out. And that is something that it's a journey that I've been on, and it's a journey that I've taken so many clients on. But it's really just learning how to love who you are, speak kindly to yourself, say kind things to yourself. And then that can transcend into the way that you get dressed and the way that you show up in the world. So it's like a whole package of mindset and style married together. And it's like the most beautiful magnetic combo ever. And so that's like a little bit of like what I do. And I'm obsessed with helping people like just feel and look like their best self and live, I like to say, our dream life vibes, dream life goals, and then dress like that version and feel, really embody that vision.
Yeah, I love that. And if you guys are watching the video, so anyone who's watching on Spotify or YouTube can just see how Mandy shows up for herself. I mean, she's really the true embodiment of her own work. And it doesn't mean that you have to, I know that we talked about this before. It doesn't mean you have to dress a certain way. And I want you to really go into that in a moment. But this is just for you. You're showing up as your true authentic self. And I can just tell from your energy that you are showing up in this glowing version of yourself, and you chose to show up in that way. You chose to really put on, the clothes and the makeup and the hair and everything that makes you you, not so much for maybe a facade or for someone else. So I would love for you to speak on that a little bit and just what really allowed you to start dressing for yourself. How did you start connecting that style and dressing was actually more for you and not for other people? Because I think that happens a lot where people are dressing for other people or we think we have to dress for other people. And how did you eventually connect it back to yourself?
Yeah. So, well, I've always been somebody, and being like, totally honest here, I've always been somebody that has loved fashion. Like, I've always loved shopping. I've always loved all the girly things. I'm a super girly girl. But I went through something really hard, and it kind of almost damaged my own confidence. Right. And so I walked myself through this process of how do you show up for yourself. And I know there's so many of my clients that do not show up for themselves. And to even take it a step back, I know that style is very, very intimate for most people. And it's like style is very unique for every single person. What I do might not be what you do, and what you do might not be what any of our other sisters do, so it has to be very personal, and it has to feel authentic to who you are and how you show up. But I will say that like style as a tool in your toolbox is so valuable. So when you're taking care of yourself, whatever that means to you, if it's movement, if it's skincare, if it's your energetics, like whatever that is, or all of it combined. I love when it's all combined, but you're
Hmm.
just taking care of you. Like you feel good in you and you know that you're being kind to yourself. You're not tearing yourself down. Then you add your style, whatever that looks like. For some people, they hardly leave the house. They do all Zooms and they want to wear loungewear most of the time. And I think that's fantastic. To where other people are, completely dressed up. They're in boardrooms or they're giving, speeches every single day. I think that it's
Hmm.
just taking all of that, combining it together and figuring out like what feels most natural and authentic to you. So for me, like I like to say I'm a style chameleon. Like I used to feel like I had to fit into boxes, right? I think we've talked about this.
Mm,
Like,
yeah.
oh, I need to dress like this because I want to be perceived as this. And I don't know,
Hmm.
something happened with, the transition that I went through and hitting 40 that like I have zero S to give ever. Like I show up as me every day. I'm like, who do I want to be today? Like what kind of person? You know what? Like one day I want to be sporty, I'm going to work out and I'm not going to have a chance to get ready. So I'm going to make that work for me. I'm going to make it cute and I'm going to show up in life as that version. And then the next day I want to throw on my blazer and I want to, give a presentation. I want to feel that level. So I think that's what it is. Like I tell people all the time, like style is what you make it. And it's about adding your own personality. And so that's what I do. And that's what I do with all of my clients is there's no box. We're not working in a box. We're working on what feels good to you. And
Hmm.
that's it.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. If anyone talks about breaking out of a box, I'm here for it.
Yes.
Like, sign me up.
Yes.
Whatever you just said after that, yes. No, I love that because there's so many people that are saying follow the trends, follow whatever is in style today. And you kind of you break out of that box and out of that mold to say, no, how do you want to feel today? And I love that, you're almost trying on these different energies and these different archetypes like each day, like, and really feeling into what you want to show up for yourself. But it doesn't mean it's the same every single day. So is there a process that you go through? Is it really just more about, listening to yourself? Do you have a process to really understand what do you want to show up as today, or how do you want to show up? Is it really based off of your day? Like, how did you get to this point to really be able to listen to yourself? Is it just practice over and over again? Because there's a lot of people that have a hard time listening to themselves.
Yeah, yeah. I will say every day, and I say this all the time, like every day is a work in progress. Like I am a work in progress. I'm always learning from you. I'm always learning. I'm always growing. I think we're all always evolving.
Hmm.
So I have off days. We all have off days, right? And it's like, so what do I do to work myself? Like I have like this, I have certain things that I do every single day that keep me grounded. Like when I feel like maybe I'm spiraling, or maybe it's like a really hard mom day, or just like a life day, right? Life.
Hmm.
So I just stay rooted in, in me. But as far as like the style part of it goes, like I feel like with the transition that I take my clients through is we always start before we ever get to the style, the closet, anything, like we have to start with the self-love. How are you talking
Hmm.
to yourself? And I say this because it's so important. It doesn't matter like how you see yourself if you're not speaking kindly to yourself, because you can't change the way that you see anything if you don't change the way you speak to yourself. So
Oh
when
my
I
gosh,
know that, and
yes.
I know that's hard, like I know that that's so much easier said than done. I have done the process, I've walked the walk, and I've also walked a lot of people through it, and it takes time. And I think it's the same thing with confidence. Is like confidence, you don't just wake up one day and say, oh my gosh, I'm so confident, or you don't just become confident. Confidence comes from keeping the promises that you make to yourself every day. Like if you say, I'm going to go for a walk today, go for a walk today. Like keep those promises to yourself, because little by little, a little becomes a lot and all of those things will compound. And so once you get that, then of course, then you start to just feel a little bit more confident overall. It's not about the clothes you're wearing, it's how you feel in those clothes that you're wearing, right?
Hmm. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I love that you do start with really the inside, the self-love of how you're talking about yourself or how you're talking to yourself. Because, yeah, I love what you said right there of it doesn't matter about the clothes, because if you're picking from a brain that actually doesn't see yourself as valuable, see yourself in this loving state, then you're probably going to be picking from that energy. So if you guys haven't figured it out by now, yes, she's an
Mm.
incredible stylist, an incredible, just hype and mindset person that helps you really get into your body. And yes, it's all about style, but it comes from a much deeper rooted, grounded energy that isn't often seen in a lot of the styling world. I think I'm starting to see a little bit more in the conscious communities because, if you put yourself in those spaces, then there's more and more and more of this. But generally speaking, mainstream, all I hear about is these um I don't even know what they're called. They're like these color sessions or things like that. I'm
Color
sure
analysis. Yeah.
color analysis. And it's just like, oh, these are the colors in style, or these are the colors that work with you, and this is what you have to wear, and you can't wear this, and this is right, and this is wrong. And I'm like, I heard that and I was like, no offense, but no thank you. Like I'm just not a fan of that. And so what do you say to that? Because that's definitely going around right now as far as like a trend in the styling world. So as someone who's in the fashion and style world but comes at it from a very internal self-love standpoint, what's your take on those? I would love to know.
Oh my gosh, I love this question. Thank you for asking it. Okay, so you might not even know this about me, but I do professional color analysis. So
Okay.
I do them with a lot of people, but I do come at it with that same approach. Like
Mm,
if we're working together and you are a cool undertone and like there's steps and processes that you go through, like you're going to see it come up on your own face, like you're going to see the change. I'm not going to
mhm,
be telling you should do this, which I would never tell anybody you should do this and you should do that, because that, no way, that's out of that's in the box. We don't do that.
mhm,
But with as far as colors, like if you tell me I have this is my favorite color, I feel so amazing in this color, like I just really show up in this, I would say then you keep wearing that color. I don't care if it's not in your season. That makes you feel good, so you're going to keep wearing it. But I do know that color is a huge tool. I will say that, like, the more that I've really learned, and this is over the last like 3 years that I've really incorporated, like, I've always loved color. I've always been a pink girl. But like the more that I've really learned and I've seen it on other people, not just myself, like it's mind blowing because it really does like change your appearance. It changes the whole like light and glow of your face if you are wearing the right color. So not to say that you should wear one or the other, but when you figure out like what your best colors are that you feel good in, maybe the one that you get the most compliments in, that helps like change your vibe a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. Well, that's awesome that you have the combination of the knowledge of this foundational color knowledge, but then pairing it with, I happened to watch a reel or like a video on social media the other day where it was literally someone doing a color analysis and they were putting these uh I don't know,
Drapes.
strips. Yeah, drapes, thank you. Fabric like over someone. And she was like, okay, so this is yours and this is not yours. You would never want to wear this. And I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Right.
I'm
Don't tell me
sorry.
that.
Like, and this woman was just like, oh, okay. And I was like, I can feel the uncomfortable energy from this woman. Like, I can't watch this anymore.
Yep.
And but it's like you said, like there is a great level of foundation. And I think and I do this too in my work where you use structures as some foundations, but then you allow yourself to kind of move around in it. That's kind of what it sounds like you do with the color analysis, where you use the foundations of the different colors, knowing that there are certain ones that are really going to accentuate your features, your looks, and help you bring that vibrance to your body, while also allowing the client to kind of move and flow in that structure.
Absolutely. Everything in my world is all about making you feel like your most fabulous self. Like this is for men, this is for women. I work with both. It's not about the brands, it's not about the clothes, it's not even about the color. Like it's all of it combined with your self-confidence and your self-love. And like I'm telling you, like that is where I do things so much differently. I don't just do color analysis. I don't just do style or personal shopping. Like I don't just do anything. Again, it's like
Mhm.
breaking out of that box. I do a little bit of all of it and I do come at it from a little bit of a different approach. Not to say one's right or wrong. I just that's what makes me me and my business, and why my clients like me, right? There's enough of all of us to go around in the world.
Yeah, 100%. No, and I love that you really are owning what you really want to bring to the world because that's who's going to resonate with you. That's how you're going to actually be able to attract the people that are like, "Hey, I have been looking for someone like you." Like, I'm so repelled by all of the traditional color analysis that I just kind of like shoved it aside. So I remember when we just like talked a little bit about a couple months ago and you just brought this whole new layer to yes, there is these like structures and colors and all these things, but it's more about what's inside. And I was just like, it was towards the beginning of like my podcast when we talked, and I was just like, oh my God, this is mind blowing because the Oh My Gosh, You're Glowing podcast was born out of this feeling of wanting to feel like you are glowing from the inside out. Because I believe once you're glowing on the inside, it's going to show on the outside. So the fact that that's how you start with your clients, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This woman is magical. I can't believe
Oh,
she exists.
I seriously am obsessed with what I do. Like, I'm obsessed with helping people get to that point. And it's crazy because, again, working with men and women, it's both the same. Like, they both have their different level of insecurities, but the insecurities that are there, really, it's like, no, no, no. Like, I will flip the script. Like, by the time we are done working together, I tell people all the time, like, I'm almost going to brainwash you into believing in yourself, because that is where everything's, where all the magic happens. Like, I've worked with really high end clients that, like, money's not an issue. They can buy anything they want to buy, but you can't buy self love. You can't buy the confidence. You can't buy that. So it's like having that person in your back pocket, which is what I do for my clients. I'm like, I'm here for you. We have our, anytime you need that pep talk, which sounds ridiculous if it's not something that you're used to having or that you know about, but it's like, no, that's what I do for you. Like, people that don't have anybody to give them that, that's what I give them. And it's so much more than just that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So it does sound like you work with an array of different people, array of different clients. So, for people who are listening to this podcast and listening to this episode and maybe saying, oh, like I really resonate with this woman, like maybe there's something here. And maybe style isn't always necessarily someone's first go-to when they are looking to cultivate more confidence, self-love, and really dive into the self-development work. Like sometimes that feels like a nice to have for people. Would you say that that's kind of what you've seen from your clients, or how do people really find you? Is it like they do feel like it's a nice to have and they finally got to the point where they've tried everything else, or do you really start to find these people, or do they come to you at a point where for whatever reason they're just drawn to you and they just are style junkies and want to learn more? Like what kind of people do you tend to attract?
That is such an interesting question. All That's why when people ask you, like, what is your, this, it's like, I don't think I have that, because I do work with so many different people. And I've worked with so many different people over the years. I've dressed people, but there's always that little factor of style. And even if it's not, you want to change your whole wardrobe because maybe you're already happy. Maybe, again, I've had clients, they already have all the fabulous things. Like, they don't need, but they need a good closet edit. They need some mindset work. So it's like, it's everything I do is really customized. And usually it's like word of mouth. I've worked a lot in my local community. So now I'm like kind of taking it online, and like people now it's like, okay, oh wait, you do this virtually. Like, everything I do besides color analysis, like a full color analysis,
Mm,
can be done virtually. So I can work with people all over the world. And it's just like this. Like, I love to do videos, but I always tell people, until you kind of get to know me, you don't have to show up on video. I don't ever want you to feel uncomfortable.
mm,
Maybe you're having a really vulnerable day, or maybe you just don't want to pull your life together that day. Like, we can meet and I'll still be there, talking to you like this, because I feel like that's really important. So yeah, I work with like so many different people, and I love that. Like, I don't ever want to say, oh, I only work with moms, or I only work with entrepreneurs, because that's not true. Like, I've worked with
right.
a range of people, and I have to joke, because like anybody that's in my life, like they will joke, we'll go somewhere, and like, I'm a social butterfly. Like, I will talk to everybody, anybody. I am like, compliments, like I can't help myself. Like, it pours out of me. And so my friends will get up and go to the bathroom, and they'll come back, and I've like I'm like, they're like, for really? I'm like, I can't help it. And so like, I'm always meeting people. It's an energy. And it's
Mhm.
usually something about fashion. Like, I'll have something, I'm your extra friend usually. Like, there's always something. And so but that's the fun part, is like, it'll start over something like a necklace. And then it turns into like a compliment. And then it's like so it's really organic, and I love that. Like, I don't ever want to like grow so big that like I can't do that. Like, I love working with people and really just like being in their world and that
Yeah.
aspect.
That's amazing. I love the organic connections and conversations. Isn't it so funny that the work that you're so passionate about, whether you're public about it or not, seems to just somehow attract to you in the most wild ways? And then you're always like leaving, I feel like, little inklings of your energy is kind of attracting these certain people in. And then all of a sudden it just gives you this opportunity to share about it. So I love that example that you just shared. So if someone is maybe really struggling. So obviously there are a lot of people that listen to this podcast who are struggling with health challenges, but not everybody. And I do recognize that some people are thriving, which is amazing. But whether you are maybe struggling with health challenges, maybe your mindset is just not so great, maybe you're just in a place of life that is not the brightest. You know that it's possible, but right now is like not doing it for you. And you're looking for really a way out, but through yourself. Because if you're attracted to this podcast, there is something about you that knows there is something internally for you to shift. So if you are, if someone is attracted to your work who is really struggling with their mind, their body, their life in general, and they don't necessarily see they see style maybe as like a nice to have. Like someone is saying like, "Hey, like I barely leave my house. I pretty much just, get out of bed, walk to the kitchen and go to the couch. But like and I just wear sweatpants all day and I feel kind of mundane. Why would I want to dress myself better? Like what is that going to do for me?" What would you tell that person that doesn't see style as an asset in their life yet?
So I would not tell them anything about style because they're not open to hearing it, right? Like they're not ready to hear that. Like why would I tell them why style is going to change? That I'm not going to do that. We're going to start with something very simple, especially with the example you just gave me, is I'm going to tell them to not, first of all, don't forget to breathe. Like I feel like so many people in my world they forget the power, which I don't have to tell you about, like deep breath. I'm like
Yeah.
you got to breathe. Like I know you're walking around breathing, but like you got to really like breathe. It will help everything just like relax a little bit. And then I would tell them, like, I know this is going to sound crazy, but you're going to go in front of your mirror and you are going to make eye contact, even though that is going to
Mm.
be really hard. And you're going to smile at yourself because it's the most fabulous curve on your body. And you're going to say, I love you, which I know is so vulnerable. But so I'm going to have them start there. And I'm going to like almost give them an exercise, like just try this, just trust me on this. Like if you came to me, it's because we have a little bit of a connection. Just trust me,
Mhm.
just try this and let me know how it goes. And I feel this confident that if somebody started there, that if even if it was 7 days later, I feel like they would say, okay, I do notice like something because it's that powerful. And then it would be like, oh, well, maybe I just feel a little, something's going to change. There's going to be a tweak. And then it would be like, okay, they're going to ask me a question. 9 times out of 10, they're going to ask me something about their clothes, an outfit. What do I think? Something. And that's how it will happen. It'll happen organically. Like I'm never going to push somebody into something that they're not ready for.
That's incredible. I was so curious on your answer and I love it. Like I was just so blown away. I was like, oh, that's a great way. And I got chills when you said the looking in the mirror and saying I love you because that can be really challenging. I know that used to be really, really challenging for me to even look at myself in the mirror and do any kind of mirror work, whether it's saying something, whether it's dancing in the mirror, whether it's just seeing you for you, like that can be so vulnerable. So that's something that I never even thought of, like for your work. So I love, 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 love that you brought that up. And for anyone listening that is like, absolutely not, I will never do that. There's probably something there for you because I got full on chills as you were talking.
Well, you never say never, but if you don't mind, I'll share just like a teeny tiny story without getting too personal. But I will
Please.
say,
Yeah.
yeah. So, what I will say is I went through a divorce and it was the hardest thing to back one step back is I've always been like somebody that loves fashion, loves to dress up, loves like always felt fairly confident, to be honest with you. Like it wasn't, we all have our insecurities, but then I went through this really hard thing that I never saw coming. Like literally the rug was ripped from under me. And I found myself like in this place, like, oh my gosh, almost like questioning myself, like not seeing, maybe what everyone else is seeing. Like I'm over here like surviving, and it just it one day I just like woke up and I was like, okay. And like it was sometimes hard for me to look in the mirror. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even recognize who I see in the mirror. I lost a lot of weight, which wasn't a good thing. It wasn't, and so little by little, like that's what I did. And I'm like, okay, well, if this is what I did. So sometimes I feel like I'm talking to the 5, 6 year ago person that maybe is in that situation. So I tell people, it's like, don't think that like I just was born this way. And like, no, I went through something really hard. And I tell you that I've walked through this myself and I know the difference that this has made. And so that's why I'm so passionate about sharing it with other people, because I know that no matter what you're going through, no matter how hard it is, like whether you've never had the self-love, whether somebody's tore you down, like this is a good starting point. This will help get you at least on the next stepping stone.
Yeah, you can tell when someone is embodied and has walked their own process, and that's why it feels so solid. So that makes sense when you really tell that story as to why you feel so solid in your process and so solid in who you are. Like you're saying, it's not like you were born this way. You didn't wake up this way
No.
originally. You really walked yourself through your own process, which is one of the most embodied ways to have a business and to help other people. And yeah, you said like you're looking at your clients really as like a past version of yourself, which I think is absolutely beautiful. That's what so many people who I think are in very similar circles to us are really doing. And it's like you had to sometimes walk yourself through the fire first. And if you found gold on the other side of the fire, like share it with the people who are still waiting because they're terrified of the fire.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
in your process, you mentioned that you went through this divorce and you did have to really walk yourself through it. So, do you feel like that really was the catalyst into who you are now as a stylist? Do you feel like there was something else in your life? Like, what was the true process? Was that really the tipping point in the moment? And, how really are you so different from the before and after now?
Yeah. It's so funny. Me and my daughter were just talking about this yesterday. I feel like that experience grew me to this human that like I never like I love the human that I am today. And I never would have got to this person without going through that. And so, like I said, style's always been there, fashion's always been there. Even back in like my corporate career, I was in the dental world for a really long time and I was always in like these suits and like I was always known for what is she wearing? I never wore like the same thing. So like fashion's always been there, but I really feel like the evolution of who I am as a human, like I just grew leaps and bounds, walking myself little by little, like through these things. And then it's almost just like I use magnetic a lot because that is what it is. It's like becoming magnetic from the inside out. And that's
Mhm.
when you add everything together, it's just like and that's what most people don't get because either maybe they already love style, but they're not doing this other work on them, on the daily. You can't just go for a walk one time and oh my gosh, okay, perfect, I'm done. I'm never going to do it again. We're all human beings. We're all a work in progress. So like just
Mhm.
keeping every day and every day's a new day, right? So if today didn't go the way you wanted, that's okay. Don't just give up. You can start again. You can start again right now. You can start again tomorrow. So it's really like that's what I would say to that. Like style's always been there. I've loved it. I honestly do kind of wish that I would have known. I kind of yell at my parents sometimes. I'm like, you guys always told me I could be a nurse, I could be a doctor, I could do this, I could do that. You never told me I could be like a personal stylist. What the heck? Like I tell my daughter, you can be anything. Like she sees me living my dream. I besides her, like this just fills my life so much. I love everything that I do and every person that I get to help. And so it's just like I wish I would have known then, but then maybe I wouldn't be this person that I am today. Like I've walked through all
Mhm.
these things that have made me the Mandy that I am today. So
So who was it that eventually told you you could be a stylist? Was it yourself? Like what eventually got you from, pulling yourself out of this really challenging life scenario, going through this divorce and really using style to get you there, but then realizing, oh wait, I actually want to do this for a career. Like who was it that told you? Was it you?
okay, so I love this question. Nobody's ever asked me this. So okay, so when I was in the dental career, my daughter was about 2, and like it was having a really hard time leaving her, to be honest. Like I loved what I did. I'd done it forever. But I knew that she was going to be my only child. I was like, my family saw me struggling, and someone came in. It was like the universe came in and was like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this brand?" It was a clothing brand. And I'm like, no, I've never heard of them. And they're like, well, you could like have your own clothing boutique and like be at home with your daughter and do what you love. And I'm like, what? And so I did like a ton of research and I literally walked away from my dental career. And my parents thought I was crazy because I was like going all in on like being an entrepreneur, going in all on my dreams. And so I did that. And like I had no idea what I was doing, by the way. Like, I mean, so messy, ups and downs, ebbs and flows. And I've got a 2-year-old. Like it was wild. I don't think I slept for months, but I opened like my own, it was like an online thing, and I had like a whole boutique in my house. I don't think you knew this about me. And it
No.
was so much fun. Like I still actually work with that brand and I have a ton of clients all over the United States and I love them dearly. I was actually just talking to some of them today. But doing that, I did that for several years. And through that, watching women, mostly women, come into my boutique or the people that I would meet at events or the people that I would dress at events, 95+% of them were tearing themselves down. They're to this, they're
Wow.
to that. And I'm like, it killed me. And I was like, selling these clothes, like I hit good milestones with that company, but I was like, this isn't what fuels me. Selling these clothes doesn't make me happy. I always style clothes. That's my thing. But I really want to help people on a bigger scale. Like really. And so that's
Mhm.
kind of, and then obviously I had the life transitions, like life just like happens. And it's like, It's like the universe just speaks to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, why am I not doing this? And I feel like my business still changes, but like where it's at right now, like I only see it like here and like just like growing from here because now I really feel so embodied in what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, who I'm doing it for. And so, yeah, so you just learned something new about me.
That's incredible. I love that story and just your realization of like, this is part of what I love, but you really being able to see, and not a lot of people are that present and aware to the process. Even other stylists, like honestly, they're just not present and aware to like the comments that are even being made to or by your clients. Like for you to even pick up on that energy, to pick up on the trend and the patterns of all this negative self-talk, and you're like you're saying, you're like, yeah, sure, like you're probably getting great money, great commission, or whatever you were getting from that boutique. But for you to actually realize this is not fulfilling me, like there's something else here, is absolutely incredible, I think, for you to not only have the awareness and realize, but to make a change enough to do something about it. I don't think many people would even have the awareness or do anything about it. They would just say, oh, well, go find someone else, like
This
find a
is my life.
therapist,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
funny story to go with that is so for the longest time, like my daughter was 2 and like we'd have all that. I mean, we always had people in and out of the house. She was always with me at events. And the one word that like the one F word that was never allowed and still till this day that we do not use in this house. And not that we use the other one all the time either, but was FAT. And I'm not even gonna say it because like the women would say it. I'm like, whoa, not even my daughter, whoa, we don't
Um,
say that word here. So it's like a funny story that goes along with that. And that still holds true. Like all my friends know, don't you dare. I don't care about you want to drop F bombs, but don't drop that one because we don't use that word. Like why? And so that's the thing. I tell my friends that with their kids. I'm like, your kids are always listening. So this is another thing. It's like it just like falls into just like life. Like just as parents, we're role models to our children. So how beautiful would that be to take that into the next generation of just like not beating yourself up, them seeing mommy and daddy love themselves and like be kind to themselves. Because you know what then they're gonna do? They're gonna do the same thing. I can't tell you how many times I've caught my daughter in the mirror. Like she doesn't like me to see her because, but I'm like, oh my God, like my heart just literally like burst out of my chest. I'm like, that is everything. So if I could like share that with like any parents, listening, that is so, it's like so much deeper.
Yeah, your kids absolutely are just absorbing everything. And I mean, it's just for you to be able to see that actually happening in real time is incredible. So, because you do have your daughter and she is kind of absorbing what you are doing and just kind of watching you, and you've made a lot of comments, on here and then even just to me in conversation that, she's always watching you, she's always absorbing, she's always just kind of figuring out like what is mommy doing? So, is there anything specifically that you say to her, that you present to her, that you maybe don't necessarily present to your clients? Like I'm talking about like for anyone listening with kids who are also wanting to not only, be a real inspiration for them in what they do, but maybe in things that you say to her as well to really help her inner confidence grow as her own person.
I could say a lot of things to her, but honestly, what I would say is letting them see you do it. So you can tell people all day long till you're blue in the face, but seeing it and saying it are two totally different things. And so
Yeah.
I say all the time, like I walk the walk. Like for a while, like this is so funny. Our household is comical sometimes, but it's just her and I. And like I think she used to think I was just like nuts. Like I seriously, like she'd see me like talking to myself. And I have another funny story if you want to hear it. But like just like
Yes.
she used to think I was crazy. And I'm like, I tell her like it's never like a vain thing. That's what like people that know me know this, but like it's not like
Yeah.
a vain or a conceit because trust me, there is none of that. I have plenty of insecurities. I try to focus on okay, what do I love instead of like tearing myself up over the things that I don't. And so yesterday, I shared this on my stories and it was hysterical. I almost like choked in the car. She gets in the car and she tells me that her coach, I guess when I go out, I dress up. I love to get dressed. And
Hmm.
so I had on my outfit yesterday and I guess her PE coach had said to her in PE, your mom, I really liked your mom's dress. And she's like, and she just was like, yeah. And he's like, do you give her a lot of compliments? She says to me, she gives herself a lot of compliments. And she's like, he almost fell out of his chair and I almost died. I was like, oh my gosh. I hope you like explained like, but what do you even say to that? Like, it was the craziest thing. I'm still chuckling about it because I'm like, but like the people that know me and like the people that I work with, like they understand. And I'm like, and she's just like, to her, it's like no big thing because she sees me like, do the mirror work. She sees me. And so, but she does it too. And that's what I tell her. I'm like, did you tell her? She's like, no. It was just so classic. But it's what I would say to parents is your kids are always watching. They're
Mhm.
listening. You don't even think they're listening because they have selective hearing. But I promise you, if you're in there tearing yourself down, they hear it. And guess what goes into their little subconscious? So I cannot stress that part enough is like, let's help change the next generation. Because honestly, Lindsay, like you and I, we weren't taught how to love ourselves. My parents were awesome. They were like hype parents, but they still never taught me like how to love myself and like what happens when you start like feeling insecure and you go through, all these things. It's like something that I feel like everybody should be talking about just a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I love that story. I'm
My
like trying to
gosh.
hold myself back from
Oh,
laughing.
well, I was
Because
driving when she told me the story and I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much. Yeah.
oh, that's amazing. It's like the guy probably need a little context, but it's just funnier that it wasn't there. That's almost better.
I'm trying to brace myself for when I see him next week because I know I'm going to see him next week and I know I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to see what happens. It's going to be great.
It's fine. You know what? Whatever. Like people can have their own assumptions, their own comments, their
Exactly.
own
Yeah.
opinions. Like
Listen,
that's
you
great.
don't know what I walked through to get to this place. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
Right? Like I worked for this.
Yes.
I worked for my own compliments.
Yes.
Oh
Oh
my gosh,
man.
that's amazing. And I think a really great reminder too to parents. I am not one yet, but I know that there are a lot of people out there who, yeah, like they think it's a combination between like trying to figure out your own path, your own life, especially depending on where you are at in your journey of life of wanting to be the embodiment of who you are and then showing up for your children and being the person that you want them to see and then also like raising them like I think about raising kids and I'm like oh my gosh like I don't know what do you tell them like and then you're most people are just like you just do you and they watch you and I'm like I don't know if that's more confirming or terrifying because now it's like more important about what you do so like I mean there's the embodiment piece there if anyone is trying to run away from being an embodied version of who they say they are I guess have kids is apparently the answer here.
They are watching and listening all the time, and they are there to remind you.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of people. A lot of my clients actually have come to me and they're like, "My child is my biggest teacher." And I'm like, "Oh boy."
That's
Um,
true.
okay. Great. Good to know.
You have time.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people tell me otherwise and I'm like, we're not living on the same paradigm. I'm not sure what else to tell you except for no thank you. You can take that comment back.
Mind your business, because we don't other people's opinions. That's why I tell people all the time. Other people's opinions are none of our business. Period. The end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 100%. Sometimes, like when it's like more on like, I think maybe this is what happens when I'm like on an online conversation because I work virtually a lot. You can almost like, if it's a text message, you can like see it come in and be like, how do I want to respond? When you're in real life, sometimes I just want to be like, I'm taking the time for myself that I normally take virtually, but you're just watching me process this. Thank you.
And they're watching your face. It's like, check your face.
Oh, I have like the most, like my face is a dead giveaway for whatever is going on in my head. So if you can read
Yep.
faces, you can basically read my mind. So,
Same.
and I post these on video. So if you're really good at that, come on in, everyone.
I love it.
No, I love this conversation and you know, you talked a lot about like your evolution of getting into this work, seeing your clients in their transformation, how you really wanted to help them. And I still just want to reiterate and just say how much I love the fact that you saw your clients for who they are to start to actually offer that. What I've realized too, like in my own business, is you know, we can actually see how much our clients what they actually need, but it's up to us to create the offers for them to receive. Like we have to be the ones to actually create the containers. So, for you to be able to actually acknowledge and see that, your clients really do need more of that self-love piece first before you even get into styling, I think it's huge. I think that's incredible. So, where do you really see where you're at now, everything that you've worked for, everything that you have witnessed so far in your clients and in your life? Where do you see the next steps of your life, your business, your company? Like, what is your dream? And I don't mean like, the traditional like 5-year goal or anything, but like what are you really excited for in this next phase of your life that you're working towards?
Well, okay. So this is gonna probably sound like cliche, but like every day of my life is the best day of my life. Like I purposely like wake up every day and like think like that. It's like, okay, well, what if today was my last day? So I every day is my dream life. Like that's how I live every day. And I don't have like these crazy goals. Like so much has happened that's like opened my eyes to like, oh my gosh, this is possible and that's possible. And I don't even know like where it's going. I just know that I'm so freaking lit up and excited about it that like I love where I'm at right now. I thought about maybe creating a program to where like as you know, as it grows and I can't help that many because I only take so many one-on-one clients. There's only it's just
Mhm.
me, myself, and I like it that way. I don't want like a huge team. That's not my goal, at least not at this stage. Maybe it will change next week, you know?
Mhm.
But I was thinking about creating a program with like okay, and like making it like micro doses so that's easy to digest where somebody's not overwhelmed with, you know, like all this material they don't know what to do with. Like, okay, well, but it's really broken down and easy for you. And it's like literally me talking to you, walking you through it the way that I would. And then I'm still there for support if you need, you know, if you need a little extra or you need, you know, me time just like this. But I love my one-on-one. Like that is where right now, like I'm just so happy. And then in my local community and even travel, every time I travel, I take my color analysis stuff. I mean, I meet people everywhere I go. And so I have clients literally everywhere I go. And so I don't know. I love the stage that I'm in right now. So I don't know. I'm open though. I will tell you that like my dreams are bigger than they've ever been. And like I'm open. Like if a brand came to me and was like, oh my gosh, because they see me playing in clothes. If you ever watch my Instagram, like I swear, like there's a method to my madness. It's not just like, hey, look at me, I'm trying on clothes. That's never the case. So I would work with brands like I don't know where the future goes. Like I've had like different stores approach me and like want me to come just to their store, and that's kind of why I
Mhm.
stepped away from the one brand exclusively. I'm like I don't know that I want to do that. You know what I mean? Like I kind of like to have a
Mhm.
little bit more open because when I do like shopping for clients, we don't just shop in one place. It depends. It depends on their preferences, their budget, their style. There's different stores for different places, and so that's where I'm at right now. So we'll see. Let's. I'm enjoying the ride, and we'll see together.
I love that. No, it's good to have, like you said, like the goals and you kind of have like a vision of moving forward. But so often, even I know that this can happen with me as well, where I love that you said you just wake up and every day, what if it today is the best day? Because it could be the last. I mean, we don't want to like necessarily, plan for that, but I mean, that's like reality. And so I think I get lost in that for sure. I know other people do too, where you're like, oh, well, I have tomorrow. Well, I have tomorrow. And you're just like kicking the can down the road. So for you to even have that reminder and bring that here to say, like, I did wake up today and today is going to be my best day, I think is one of the best reminders anyone could ever have in any capacity. And yeah, it's just going to really move your life forward in an even better way. So you talked a lot about your one-on-one clients and just how much you love working with them. So if someone is listening and they're like, I have got to work with this woman, she is like the best thing I have found on the internet since sliced bread, which, all right, we're not going to talk about bread, but my point is,
Slice zucchini.
right, okay, slice something. If someone wanted to work with you, how would they go about doing that? What do you offer right now? And this is obviously recorded in March of 2025, so things could change if you find her later. But right now, how could they work with you?
Yeah, so they could go onto my Instagram and I have like everything, all my links. People send me private messages. Like I said, people refer me. But the easiest way if they're watching this and they don't know me at all is to go onto my Instagram and you will find all the information. I make it really simple. We always start with a one-on-one. Some people I have that do regular one-on-ones. Like it's almost like a monthly retainer. Like they just know like once a week they need this dose of something. And sometimes I've gone back and forth with like closing the one-on-one and only doing to where it's like so many sessions, but I don't feel like that serves everybody because not that it's like a one and done thing because it hardly ever is unless it's a client that I've worked with in the past or maybe we've done a color analysis, we've done the things, they've done their own closet edit and they need my help to pack for a trip or they need my help to pick out an outfit or we're going shopping. Like there's so many different things that I do within that. So that's how we would start. We would start just like this. It's just me and you and whatever comes up in that meeting. Like we can get so much done in 60 minutes and then we go from there. It's all custom. It's all custom to you.
Awesome. Yes, I will definitely drop her Instagram link and everything below in the show notes. So make sure you go follow Mandy and DM her if you want to work with her in any capacity. And I just know that you're going to attract so many just beautiful, soul aligned clients. And, your energy just really does it. So I'm super excited for people to really experience you in this podcast for that reason, because that was really like what did it for me. Like when we got on a call, I was like, wow, I could just feel your energy. Like I just want more and more people to experience you, to experience your energy that you bring, because I think that is just honestly your secret sauce to your work. And just hearing your experience and your transformation through it, it makes sense as to why. Like truly, you're a very embodied, grounded individual in your work. And at least from my experience, just witnessing style from the outside, that's not always the case. So I think you're just a true gem in this
Oh,
world.
thank you so much. I loved being here. I feel like we could probably keep going for a really long time.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So we do want to make it relatively digestible, but of course, there's always opportunities to bring people back. But before we close out, is there anything that you just want to leave our listeners with, a reminder, just any message that comes to mind, anything that you want to just really close out with today?
Well, if you follow me on Instagram, or if you have, you're going to know that I say this all the time. And it's really just pour into you. Like I'm going to tell every single person, pour into you. If you haven't today, do it. You have time. It's still only like the middle of the day or wherever you're at in your day, whatever time it is, there's time before you close your eyes and go to sleep. Look in that mirror, smile at yourself and say something kind. Start there. Like if you do nothing else today, add that into your life. That's what I would say.
That is beautiful. I want to just end with that because that was incredible. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mandy, for joining us, for taking time out of your day to just really be a part of this podcast, and for everyone listening to really spend your day and your time with us here today. If you have not already, make sure to follow the Oh My Gosh, You're Glowing podcast on Spotify. If you have any comments, you can drop them below. Spotify does allow comments. Also, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and give us a 5-star rating on the Apple Podcast app. Also, if there is anyone in your life that you know would absolutely love this podcast episode, make sure to send it to them so that they can hear it and experience Mandy's magic for themselves. I love getting this podcast out to more and more people so that we can really spread these messages further and wider, and you really help us do that. So, thank you so much, Mandy, for joining us today. I'm so excited and happy to have you here and for you to just be on this show. And yeah, we'll see you all in the next episode. So, thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.